My name is Amy. I am a library clerk here at the Lake Wales Public Library. I also own my own business as a professional gift designer. I have been doing crafts of all kinds since childhood, thanks to a wonderfully and talented and creative mother. In addition to growing up crafty, I was trained as a professional basketeer creating gift baskets for Disney's Magical Celebrations department. This class was originally designed to be an in-person class, but I've now modified this class to its current virtual version to deal with the concerns of the COVID-19 pandemic. I have created 15 different gift baskets for individual students to create. Because all 15 gift baskets are not worth the exact same value, although very close, we are just picking numbers out of a bowl and allocating the baskets on a first come, first served basis as students sign up for the class. I purposely created many different types of baskets to give you as many unique ideas as possible. But you may end up with a gift basket that you don't feel you can particularly use or have a person in mind to give it to. In which case, I encourage you to add it to the baskets to be given away for the next Friends of the Library event, which will help fund future classes at the library. I have put together all 15 gift baskets and photographed them to give you a template to go by, but please feel free to change them up or add to them. I also purposely deconstructed them to give you an opportunity to start from scratch and create your own vision. I hope that you will share your finished products and your visions on the Lake Wales Library Facebook page. The first demonstration will cover the basics of building a gift basket and should give you all the tips that you'll need to be able to go off and build your baskets on your own. But if you would like more demonstrations, please feel free to watch to the end of the video. Let's get started. You should have all the elements that you need to create your basket included in your bag, except for scissors and a hairdryer or a heat gun if you happen to have one. A hairdryer or heat gun is not mandatory, but it will help you get a nice result. But you definitely will need a pair of scissors from home. Then in your basket collection, you should also have glue dots and double-sided tape, the shrink wrap, and a bow or ribbon included. And feel free, of course, to add your own extra ribbon or whatever else you'd like to decorate your gift basket when you're done with it. Some tips to remember. Gift baskets should be a unifying color and theme. Unifying color is the most important thing. The one I'm about to do here has a unifying color of mostly gold and black. There's a little bit of red and gold in here too. And of course it has the unifying theme of snacks. I picked yellow shred in a black basket. So this will be all color coordinated. And that is the biggest sign of a professional gift basket. It should definitely be color coordinated and theme coordinated. But if not possible to do both, for sure one or the other. Okay? The container should be the correct size, not too big and not too small. If anything, you want a gift basket where things will fit mostly on top. It's going to generally hold the size of it, but not really. It's not about fitting in. It's about the general area of more or less sitting on top. Most gift baskets, I would fill up the negative space with this kind of paper and then cover over it with tissue paper so that your items will more sit on top. Okay, that helps it look fuller and actually separates the item up a little bit higher so that you can actually see what's in the gift box. That makes it look more expensive. In this case, I'm not going to do that though, but that's rare for me because this one has holes in the side, so you would see it if I did that. So for this one, I'm actually going to put some shred in the bottom. Because like I said, you will see this coming out the sides. So that definitely adds a decorative element to it. The other thing to remember is you actually don't have to use an actual gift basket. You can really use anything. The only standard rule is that your base item should contain the gifts in a general area. But as long as you can attach them all together so it doesn't move around, that's really all you need. You can use a tray, you can use a boot, you can use a basket, you can use a bucket, really pretty much anything that you can think of. But remember, color and or theme should be the most important thing to making it look professional. Try and use high-end items whenever possible, or high-end looking items, which does not always mean a high-end price. These items are all from Dollar Tree, the basket, and all these snacks. Now these are the same high-dollar snacks that you get from Publix. They're basically just in a smaller amount, but these are all name brand stuff that you can get. They have a lot of name brand stuff there. It's just in smaller quantities. But of course, we know you can get high-end gifts at discounted prices by just watching the sales. So if you want to give somebody an expensive looking gift, try and get one item, high-end looking item, and you can fill it up the rest of it with maybe not so expensive items. But that will add a greater perceived value to your gift basket if you try and stick with high-end or high-end looking items. Whenever possible, de-retail packaging. That means you cut off these retail strips like this, whole. I cut it off on the rest of these. I did not cut it off on this one because there's a chance I could actually open the package. So we don't want to do that. But you certainly want to take off price tags and those fabric tags that you see on stuffed animals and towels and things like that. Unless you think that someone is going to return the gift or there's a real, safety reason for it, always cut those off because it's not attractive. Try and use glue dots or double-sided tape to keep your items from shifting. So now this particular gift basket, I have already dry fit a little bit ahead of time just to save time. But once you do the dry fit, you want to attach things with glue dots so that they don't move around too much. Once you've done the shrink wrap, they shouldn't really move anyway. But this will also help you be able to display your items so that you can more see what's in there. This one's covering up this one, so let's see if we can change that a little bit. Let's see. And generally you put bigger items to the back. Down in there. I already dry fit this once. I can't remember exactly where I put everything, but it doesn't have to be exactly the same either. We just want it to look nice. So I'm going to say like that. I might put another glue dot right there. And then remember with your glue dots to take your glue dots to the product. Don't try and do it with your fingers because it'll just stick to your fingers. Okay. All right, I think that looks pretty good. This one's kind of hidden, but at least it fills up the space. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Let me turn it towards myself. Quite like that. I'm not really used to doing this back to front. So, let's see. Okay, that looks better. All right, now we're going to add a little shred on top to add some more color. And again, color coordinate it, tie it together. No sense in having it really hang over the sides because it's going to get squished when I shrink wrap. Shred, even at Dollar Tree, is not that cheap. So you want to use it as minimally as possible. Plus it makes a mess. So just use what you have to. Okay, let me look at it again myself. I say it looks pretty good. The areas are a little bit wrinkled, but I think overall that looks pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to shrink wrap it. Now at Dollar Tree, you can get shrink wrap for $1 with a bow, or you can get 2 bags for $1 with no bow, but those do not shrink wrap. The thing I don't like about those, besides not being able to shrink it, is when you buy the just regular cellophane that is not shrink wrap, because it's folded, when you unfold it, all those fold marks will stay in there. So if you can, use the shrink wrap. If you really want to don't want to do the shrink wrap, you don't have a hair dryer, or you just don't want to do it for whatever reason, I would use cellophane on a roll, so that you don't have all those wrinkles in it. Okay. So now this one is probably going to be pretty close to the right size, so I shouldn't have to cut this down too much. Now, Dollar Tree gift bags, shrink bags, have this warning sign about choking hazard. You can get them on Amazon without the bow. You can get like 10 for $1, which don't have that warning sign on there. They won't have the bow, but you might have your own bow. So anyway, if you're going to think about doing a bunch of gift baskets for Christmas or something, you might want to get them from Amazon instead of going to Dollar Tree, so you don't have to deal with that warning sign. But for this style basket, it's not really going to be a problem. This is always the tricky part because of static flames. Alright, now I'm going to try and center this as much as possible. A little bit to the left. Okay. That's pretty good. Alright, now I'm going to take my twist tie, which you should also have in your bag. It wasn't garbage if you saw it in there. Had a purpose. Alright, and I'm just going to loosely tie this as to this to get the air out of it. And also, I'm going to have to stick my hand in there before I'm completely done and fix something or add thread or do something. So we're just kind of loosely holding the top at this point. Right now, I'm going to take this excess and we're going to tape it back, which means we need our double-sided tape. And I just put a couple of pieces on my table to make it handier. You can also use this tape to fix holes. You get a hole in it from shrinking it. You might have it a little tight. Okay. So now I'm just going to pull that excess towards me, toward the back, so you won't be able to see it so much. And put a piece of tape on it. And then do the same on this side. There's too much air in here. Get air out of there. Okay. Heat gun will also help take some of the air out. Alright, so then you're sort of trying to fold it like a gift. You would crease the corners on the package. And then put that tape on it. Now, I have a heat gun, because I do lots of crafty stuff, so it's worth it for me to do it. You can use a hairdryer, it's just going to take longer. If you have a heat gun and you're not familiar with this, just be really careful and take your time, because it is kind of easy to burn a hole in it, okay? So I'm basically going to generally go around the gift basket instead of doing one side out once, because it's going to pull it all in one direction. So you kind of want to go around it evenly till you get it mostly done. This one is nice and rounded, so I don't have to worry about it, but when you have gift baskets that have sharp edges, you have to worry about when you shrink it that it's going to put a hole in it. So just take your time with this part. ultimately, what would be nice is to shrink it till you get all the wrinkles out. But if you're trying to be perfect and get all the wrinkles out, you take a real chance on putting a hole in it. And it's honestly just better to have a few wrinkles than to have a hole. So I try to keep my distance, keep it moving. And again, not too bad. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. Now see, this is why I wanted it open. So now if something fell or I just didn't like the way it looked, or I wanted to add something to it, now would be my time to add it in there. I just got my twist tie on the floor. All right, so here we go. Now I'm going to put this on tighter. And if you've never done the shrink wrap before and you were doing a bunch for the holidays or something, I honestly recommend going to Dollar Tree and just picking up a few extra to play around with it. So if you get in the middle of it and you put a hole in it, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't finish this gift now because I don't have another one. Because it does take a little bit of practice to do it without putting a hole in it. If you put a hole in the back or anywhere that's not, or the bottom, anywhere that's not really visible, just use some of this tape. You can't see it anyway. It just becomes more problematic if it's right on the front. But in a pinch, I put it on the front too. Not to sell, but for family. So, anyway, I'm going to go around here again. Again, going through the back. If I just went crazy and did this all at once, it's going to pull it too hard and it's going to give it a weird shape. So, we're really probably almost done here. There's no sense in going crazy. Okay. I think I'm just going to leave it there. You can see it might go a little bit more on this end. Make that a little tighter. Oops, ups, made a hole. Okay, should have let it go, but hey, no problem. Just gonna put a piece of tape on there. You really can't see it, so don't worry about it if you do that. So it's probably a good thing that happened just so I could show you. Anyway, we're just gonna leave. This side looks a little lumpy. Be a little more careful over here. Okay. All right. That's good enough. Let it go. Now this is a little too long. So I'm going to cut this off, make it a little more even too. All right. And then we're going to take the bow, the came with it. It on. There we go. And I usually just tie these in a bow, not a knot, this way. If you want to reuse it, you can. Why not? Okay, should be recycling. All right, and then just curl your ribbons. Okay. Oops, stuck to my fingers. And there you go. And we could, if we wanted to go a little crazy, we could try and add something on there. Let's see if I got anything. This has a bit of a fall look to it. Let's see. Add something like this. Just cut that off, trim that off, and then add some glue dots and put that on there. So all those little bits that tie the colors together really help. So that's it. I hope you enjoy your gift basket creating. Thank you. We have bonus basket, so to speak. This one is made out of a tray, just to show you can really use anything. It just has to contain your items in the space. This one has the unifying theme of relaxation. We have this uncork and unwind resin wall decor. And then we have some candles from Dollar Tree to go with it that are color coordinated, as well as some flowers that are color coordinated. This is just a piece of plywood painted with a watered down ombre look. So now I'm just to attach this wood so it doesn't slide off to our tray here. I'm using what they call nano tape, which comes like this. It's kind of like heavy duty glue dots. Works really great. It's still removable. It just can be tricky to get the red liner off. So I'm just going to glue this down to the tray here. And of course I've already sort of dry fit this, so I would know how it would fit. And I have just a basic tray from Dollar Tree and put a little shred in the bottom of it. And I've put some nano dots, nano glue on the bottom of this to hold this too, because it's going to get heavy once I have the candles in there. So we're going to add this to the edge. And then before we put this together, we're going to dry fit this a little bit too. So maybe something like this. Okay. Put a little nano glue between those two. And we've got the candle. We'll just turn that label around so you can't see it. Then use a little more nano tape in between to kind of keep those together, keep them from moving around. Okay. And then I have some color coordinated flowers that I'm also using some glue dots to kind of secure that, keeping in mind I'm not going to go over the edge, because when you shrink wrap this, if the flowers are hanging over the edge, it's just going to crush them. Alright, and I got a little tape on that, maybe put just a tad more in here so it doesn't move. It shouldn't really move once I have it shrink wrapped anyway, but it's best just to not have to worry about it. And maybe one like there. Don't need a ton of tape, just enough so it's not going to move before you shrink wrap it. And then just enough where it's not sticking. Like that. A little one on here. Like that. Okay, just have to turn this to myself for a minute, make sure that looks all right. Looks okay. Probably needs a little bit more green shred. Usually I only wait and put it on top anyway, so you don't sort of waste it. But this is a pretty shallow tray, so all right. Notice again, since it's really sticking out over the side, because when you shrink wrap it, it's going to get squished anyway. All right. So now we get to the shrink wrap part. Turn it around again. Make sure it's secure. All right. We're gonna shrink that bag. Once again, this one has the label on the bottom. So we're going to try and hide that. Now this one is a little bit tricky just because it has a lot of sharp edges, which can easily get broken when you're using a heat gun or a heat dryer. So you have to be a little extra careful with those. Let's see. I think I'm actually going to trim this down a little bit. Don't need quite this much. Otherwise, just getting a lot of bulk in the back. So, okay. We're just gonna need our double-sided tape to secure that side. Wherever it was. Where did my double side tape go to? It's hiding on me. Well, I'll have to come back for that. This isn't even funny. Let's see if this dispenser works. Hiding in plain sight. Alright, I'm just gonna get a couple strips off the end. Make this easy for me. What you want to do is fold this under to hide that label. You're just going to kind of fold it like a present right there. Without turning it over, I'm just going to put some tape on the back. And also here, transfer it to go. Once I have it shrink wrapped, I can sort of turn it over and secure that a bit better. But for now, we just want to sort of get it without turning it over. Push that down there to the corner and take all this. And I am going to temporarily twist tie it and hold it while I shrink wrap it. I just try and do a little bit all around, because if you do it all on one side at the same time, you try and do it a little bit evenly, because otherwise it's going to pull all to one side, and you're also more likely to get tears if you try and do it all one side. I'm going to hold this because I don't really want to shrink this top part. I'm going to put a bow around here. And you can see the big advantage of this is going to take the wrinkles out. If you buy regular wrap that you're not going to shrink, for sure get it on a roll, because if you get it folded up and you don't shrink it, all the lines are just going to stay there, all the fold lines, and it just won't look very professional. It just look kind of sloppy. So either shrink wrap it or use plastic that's on a roll. It's just a lot harder to work with. And of course the other bonus is this is shrinking all this, so this is not going to move. Especially if you're going to ship something, this really helps. The idea is really to do this till it's tighten up and you get the wrinkles out, but less is more, because if you go too far, you can easily tear it. If it's on the back, you can easily just cover it with a piece of tape. But if you get a big old hole right in front, you're gonna see it. So I've done it and had to redo it. If you have the shrink wrap included with your class. But if you're gonna, make a few gifts for Christmas or somebody's birthday, I just buy a couple extra. And again, you can just get these at the Dollar Tree. Just so you have some practice. So if you put a big hole in one, you're just not gonna worry about it. And if you get them online, like on Amazon, you can buy them as like quantities of like 10. So if you're gonna make a bunch of Christmas gifts this way, or just have someone stock for the next few birthdays, then the nice thing about the Amazon versions is it doesn't have that writing on the back here that I'm now going to cover up. This will shrink this that pushes on the back. I'm not going to worry about. I'm just going to put a piece of tape on here. And then cut this off. Don't need that big wall on the back. Just basically want it to look neat on the front and keep everything from moving. Don't need to be overly picky. Okay. Just go a little bit, just to keep it secure. Right. This is why it's so important that we tie this stuff down. If I hadn't taken the time to sort of secure this, when I turned it over, it'd just be would have all slid around and not look as neat. So now, do that again. And be careful not to overdo. We're getting real close. We're getting real tight there, ready to put a hole in it. So I'm just going to let it go right there and call that done. Now to finish this up, the ones from Dollar Tree are $1. If you get the shrink wrap ones, they're $1 with the bow. If you get the non-shrink, you get 2 with no bow. But again, if you don't shrink it, once you unfold it, you're going to have all those wrinkles, fold lines in it. So, and probably most of you will do this with a hairdryer, but again, it'll work. It'll just take a little longer. Okay. It's a pretty nice bow you get with it too, and it's white, so it pretty much is going to go with any male, female, whatever holiday, whatever. So. All right. There we go, a nice spa gift basket. I'm going to show you, you can really make a gift basket out of anything. Maybe not that many of you have cats, but if you got the cat one and you don't have a cat, maybe you can give it to someone who has a cat, or give it to the ASPCA. I bet they would appreciate it. So anyway, I'm using this as my quote gift basket. Okay, I'm going to attach everything to this. So first of all, I think I'm going to tape down this end. I would cut it off, but I'd be cutting off the kitty's picture, so I'm just going to tape it. All right. And then I'm just going to kind of dry fit this mind you, whoever gets this to make it for the gift basket class, just because I do it this way, I'm gonna unmake it once I'm done. You can do it any way you want. This is just what I'm doing to show you an example. And of course, for professional gift baskets, we try and de-retail them. So that helps us look more professional, when possible. Can't always do it. There's no reason to put this tag on here. Actually, in the case of a kitty, they might like the tag. But let's say it's going to a kid, cut the tag off. Unless you have an item that you think for some reason they're gonna return it, just get rid of that kind of nonsense. We got a little kitty bowl, special kitty treat, and then we got some kitty toys here. All right, so we're gonna dry fit this, and we're gonna put this like that, and put the bowl down at the end. I think that's gonna go like that. And then we're gonna put these balls in various places. Maybe something like that, okay? All right, so now I got it glue them down so I'll be able to shrink wrap them. We've got the glue dots. Of course, we want to bring the glue dots to the item, not to your fingers, because it just doesn't work very well. And for most stuff you're going to include in a gift basket, it's not going to harm it anyway, so you can tape to your heart's content. It might be annoying to pull it off, but it shouldn't damage anything. And if you're buying, you have glue dots included with your items for gift basket class, but if you're going to buy some on your own, get a good, strong version. You know, you can look on Amazon, look at the ratings, because if they're not very sticky, then they're pretty much pointless. Okay, so go ahead. Let's see. This is a little bit heavier, so we definitely want to put some glue dots on the edges there. Ooh. And this is silicone. That's annoying, because that means it doesn't want to stick. Okay. Speed up this part of the video. This could take a while. And I said, don't put this on your fingers, but I have to in this case because it's not sticking to the silicone. And again, once I shrink wrap this, it's going to stay put anyway. So I just need it to stay put long enough to shrink wrap it. Okay. It's going to stick to my fingers. Not where I want it. Okay. Okay, here we go. Do the same thing on here. There's a nice flat spot in that ball. Stick that to the side again. We just need to hold it long enough to shrink it. Okay. Let's see. Remember how I was doing this? I think I had this. Something like this. Obviously the unifying theme of this is kitties. But you could almost say that's circus colors too. Alright. Put that one there. And then this last one. Put it up here. Alright. I already have the correct size of shrink wrap for this. Worked out perfectly because I had cut it off from another one. So there's another reason to not have too much bulk over shrink wrap on your items, because you can save yourself some money and reuse them for another project. And this one cut off nicely because I don't even have to worry about covering up the writing. So this one actually, when you look at it, almost has the look of a Christmas stocking. So even none of this looks Christmassy. If you wanted to do this, it's the exact same one for Christmas and just put a Christmas bow on it when you're all done, I'd say that would work as a nice Christmas gift for the kitty in your life, or the kitty, the person who loves kitties in your life. Okay. All right. So. It's almost a little short. Trying to get the seam kind of to the back. So I need this tape here. All right, cut myself a couple more pieces of tape. Secure that on the back. Now this overhang here, I'm tugging it in because when I shrink wrap it, it's just going to get squished. So I have that pretty well secure on the front, so I feel okay about turning this over. And then just kind of fold this a little bit like a gift. Try and make it as unbulky as I can. But I'm not going to worry about it too much. Alright. Now I'm going to temporarily twist tie this at the top. All right, so now we're good to shrink it. Again, I'm going a little bit around the sides first. Don't want to do all one side at once, because you're more likely to get holes. And then it also won't be even. Everything's going to get pulled to one side. So don't need to overdo it. We're just really trying to make it look neat and secure everything. Turn it back a little bit. I say that's good. Now, because I did use this as a leftover, I don't have a bow for this. But I usually stock up from Dollar Tree, so I'm just going to use color coordinating bow. And there you go. Okay, this is number 15 of the gift baskets samples that I had made up for you guys. And this one I picked to show you the details of because, again, you can make a basket out of anything. You just really need to be able to contain the items. You want to always remember, you want to keep color theme together whenever possible. And if you can't do color, you should definitely do theme. Like this is a pedicure theme. And if you can do both, which is in my case, I sort of picked the yellow, orange, red theme, pedicure. Bonus points for doing both. All right, again, this stuff is all from Dollar Tree, so you can make a nice gift basket fairly inexpensively. This was $1, these each for $1, $1. I think these were 2 for $1. So, all right. First thing we're gonna do is de-retail. So we're gonna cut this off. I might leave these attached to each other. Just take out this cardboard. Now whoever gets this to put together, you don't have to do what I do. You can take this apart and do what you want. After I put this together and film it, I'm going to take it apart for the person who gets it as part of their class. Again, cut these tags off. Not pretty. Nobody ever wants these things. Not sure why in 2020 we still need this, but okay. All right, now I'm just going to do a dry fit again. Take these all out. Okay, so we got this pumice stone, the little brush, got the little feet things to go between your toes. All right, so turn this to me a bit. Dry fit, okay, so I'd say something like this. Maybe pumice stone. This is nail polish remover, by the way. Something along those lines, maybe just like that, because it's kind of heavy. And then maybe like that, something like that. And then might actually put a little shred underneath this one just to prop it up a little bit, or tissue paper, might do that. But for right now, I'm just going to take some glue dots and kind of attach all this stuff. Again, you want to use good quality glue dots. I got these from Amazon. Pretty inexpensive, actually. I think they're cheaper to get from Amazon rather than Michael's. So I haven't seen any really good quality ones at Walmart, so don't need super high quality. Like this is gonna hold because it's real lightweight. These are a little bit heavier, and you do need to hold it long enough at least to get it shrink wrap. And this one we might not shrink wrap too tight because it'll look squished. So we want it to somewhat hold. Okay, kind of slid down there. So maybe I'm gonna put it up here like that. Sorry I got this towards me, but I'll turn it around when I'm done so you can see what I did. I'm just not good at working upside down and backwards. Let's see. Okay. All right. I think that looks pretty good, generally. Now I think a little bit of tissue paper. I also get this from the Dollar Tree. You can get a fairly large collection. I forget, I think it's 35 sheets maybe for $1. And then I just sit for the tea and take them all apart because when you hurry, you don't want to tear through all those things and look for the one that's your color. So I think we need some contrast here. So I'm going to see. Got some yellow. we go. Let's see, that was kind of a yellowy green. Not really what I wanted, but I don't have bright yellow. I think I got an orange in here. Maybe I'll do that instead. Go with monochromatic instead of contrast. Might look better in this case. All right. Oops, for it. Okay, I'm gonna crumble it up anyway. I just wanted to give it a little height underneath there. Maybe have it stick out a little bit. All right, now this one, probably gonna cut part of this off. I'll cut it right here. I'll be able to save this for another one. All right, now we need a couple of pieces of tape ready to go. We're going to go all the way over to the corner, which is already secured on the one side. Leaving a little bit of space there so I can be sure and tuck that under. Okay. All right. Okay. So, I'm going to loosely tie this. A little bit like a gift. Get underneath. And then tape it. Like I said, once I get the shrink wrapped enough, I'll be able to turn it over and secure it better if I need to. All right. I was going to actually try this without the plate underneath, but I just don't think those are sturdy enough slippers. It's going to work. So. All right, here we go. But if they were a little bit firmer bottom, you could just totally use the slippers as your coat gift basket. So basically anything that will hold your items and make it look nice qualifies as a quote gift basket. Everything's all about the presentation. That's why the cosmetic counters look so beautiful. and how they get away with charging such ridiculous prices at department stores for cosmetics because they make everything look so pretty. Alright, see, that's pretty good. It's pretty secure in front, so I'm going to turn over it. You can see it's starting to bend this already. So I don't want to do too much more. I just do a little bit on the back. I think that's actually good there. Now, tighten this up a little bit better. I don't always like to completely tie that firm, right, in case I want to stick my hand in there and fix something, or I was kind of contemplating adding some shred to this, but I'm not going to do it. I don't think I really need it. So, I don't really need this much bulk on that tail. Cut that off. Like a little more proportional, and then we got the bow that comes with it from Dollar Tree. Just pull the two little ends inside. There we go. All right. I'm just going to turn this over to make it easier. Alright, there you go. And then of course you could curl the ribbons, and I might, if I was giving this to somebody, probably add like a really cute, actually I think I'll add it on there now. Let's look for a cute flower to add on there. Oh, let's see. What do I got here? Kind of has a fall look to it, doesn't it? Just add that. Gives it a little dimension. So I'll just include that with the person. It was missing something. So, all right. That's it. There you go.